Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Bowman. Welcome to this video on the final exam project. So I'm going to quickly go through this. It's so good to see you and be able to share this with you. So these are the four Ppr domains that we have attached to this course. The first one is designing instruction and assessment to promote student learning. The second is creating a positive, productive classroom environment. The third is implementing effective, responsive instruction and assessment. And the fourth is fulfilling professional roles and responsibilities. And so I just want to share these with you because you need to pick at least one and preferably two that match your in-service that you're going to create. Remember, this project entails you creating an in-service that is relevant to the TEA standards and or the PPR standards, and create it so that you can present it to your campus. So let me go back and talk about Canvas for a minute. In the very first module of Canvas, you will see the first module is called Course Information, and in this module where my cursor is circling, there are two files, if you will, that are pretty important to you. One of them is Final Benchmark Project, and I'll show you what's in there in just a few minutes. And then underneath that, it says Examples of Final Exam Project. Now, I don't have a screenshot of that, but that's where 2 or 3 examples from previous years or students' work is located. So, and this just tells you just what I told you. Now, this slide shows you under that particular file, you see all of the documents that are related to the final project. The first one is the complete instructions. And then the next documents, part 1, 2, 3, and 4, are they are the final exam project chunked, and like this week you will upload the part 1, and next week part 2, and so on. So I wanted to chunk it because I want you to really think through this project. I don't want it to be just another assignment. So here I took the entire instructions and I broke them down and put them on a couple of slides so I could cover it with you. So you will design an in-service program for teachers and staff which emphasizes a major topic found in the Texas Education Standards or in the PPR standards. You will select and research one major issue which focuses on a philosophy, teaching process, special program, or a legal ethical requirement found in those 4 domains. This in-service should explore new educational ideas as well as enhance daily skills sets for new teachers. And you will have a handout. You will create a handout or a flyer explaining the topic and why it's relevant, how it would be used for educators. It just should be simple. It could be something that you would put up on social media or advertise. So here's the next part. It's on 2 slides. It's the in-service training is for newly research ideas on the topic, and you will include at least 5 technology sites or tools which you have explored to verify their relevance. In other words, I don't want you to just go out and find one and plop it in there. I want you to have really looked at it to see if it works with what you're training on, and it empowers that training and makes it better. You will include at least one activity which involves all of this activity should be created that it will involve all the participants. And then last, you'll create a PowerPoint of at least 8 slides that you would use to conduct this training. So part 4 is would be the slides, and it can be more than 8, but it needs to be at least 8. And remember that you need to include at least 2 1 to 2, preferably 2 PPR standards that apply to your in-service. It may not fit every word of that standard, but when you look at the standard, you can see how it would fit. So the top part of this, I've changed slides. For part 1 is all that I just told you, with the exception that the last sentence, to be considered for a high A, students must include the PBR competency or competencies that is connected to the project and explain how it relates. So all of you want, that high A, and so that's just a little information about that. So in part 1, that is due this week, you will write a 1/2 page abstract of your final project. It is basically just a brief description of your project, and then you'll have a draft of the handout. Now, it says draft, so that means it can change before the final project is uploaded. This is just this week. The handout or the brochure is simply a flyer that you would use to post to advertise your event, or it could be for social media, or it could actually be something you hand out during the training that you think would help the participants to stay more engaged. Then you have the references. This particular part 1 does not have a cover page or reference page, but you must have references, and you can put them at the bottom of the abstract, or you can add a reference page. Part 2, you're going to create a Word document and title it Part 2 Final Benchmark Project EDUC 5305. And in this one, you're going to list your 5 technology sites or tools that you have selected for this project. You can include more than 5, but really 5 is probably plenty, because if you're thinking about really training, even if you had a whole a half a day, integrating 5 technology sites or tools would probably be plenty for a half a day. And underneath that, you'll include a little summary of how that site provides, how it can be used, and provide a brief description. Be sure that you double space, you have a reference page on part 2, and you always, I'm just reminding you about the domains. In part 3, you will create a Word document and title it Part 3 Final Benchmark Project EDUC 5305. This is the one where you will create your activity. Now, if you want more than one activity, you can do that, but I'm asking you to have at least one activity that you would use in this in-service. So the activity must be prepared so that it includes all participants. It doesn't have to be, they can be broken up in groups, but they're all working on the same activity, and it needs to be interactive and engaging, and you will double space and have a reference page. And then let me make sure that was part 3. That was the activity. Part 4 is your PowerPoint, and I'm asking that you have no less than 8 slides. You can have more. And remember, this is should be developed so that you can present it to your faculty. So do it with that in mind. As I said earlier, I don't want this to just be another activity. I really want it to be something useful that you can either present to your faculty or at least your team or your department. And then in this one, in part 4, along with this 8 slides, you're going to include all parts of the in-service. If you want to include them in a slide, that's perfect, okay? And last, I want to tell you thank you ahead of time. You're going to do a great job, and I am so excited about it. I love these projects because they have meaning to them. So if you have any questions or you need help, please feel free to call me. I am available, 713-303-2558. Thanks.